Imagine a garden that feeds your family for decades without replanting. Most gardeners start over every spring. What if you can plant once and forget about repeated sowings? Some crops live and bear fruit for 20 years in a row. Number 1 on our list can plant itself. This plant literally moves around the garden without your participation. The harvest multiplies automatically and you simply collect the fruits. All parts of the plant are edible and require minimal care. Today, we are revealing 9 perennial crops for lazy summer residents. By the end of the video, you will learn the secret to creating a self-sustaining vegetable garden. Welcome to the channel where gardening becomes easier and more efficient. We help gardeners get maximum yield with minimum effort, turning your plot into a source of fresh produce all year round. If you dream of a garden that works for you and not the other way around, you've come to the right place. Over the 3 years of the channel's existence, we have shared our secrets with more than 500,000 gardeners throughout Russia. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. This way, you won't miss any tips that could change the way you garden forever. Now, let's move on to our list of perennial crops, starting with 9th place. Each plant in this rating is capable of delighting you with a harvest for at least 5 years in a row. Rhubarb takes 9th place, a Siberian hero that will survive any frost. This plant is capable of bearing fruit for 15 to 20 years in one place, producing juicy red petioles as early as April. Originally from cold Siberia, rhubarb first came to English gardens in the 18th century and immediately captivated gardeners with its unpretentiousness. Just imagine, when the rest of the garden is still sleeping under the snow, the rhubarb is already making its way to the sun. It is best to plant rhubarb with rhizomes in rich organic soil in a sunny area. Leave a distance of 1 meter between plants, because in a few years the bush will grow into a real giant. Minimal care. Watering during drought and mulching around the rhizome for the winter. The main rule is not to cut off the petioles in the first year. Let the plant grow stronger and develop a powerful root system. Remember, rhubarb leaves are poisonous due to oxalic acid, but the petioles are ideal for pies, jams, and even meat sauces. The more you cut, the more actively the plant expels new shoots until autumn. In 8th place is the Jerusalem artichoke, or earthen pear, an invulnerable tuber native to North America. Indian tribes have grown it for centuries, valued for its ability to grow in any conditions and produce rich harvests without special care. These plants amaze with their size. The stems stretch up to 3 meters in height, forming real green walls. Jerusalem artichoke is a relative of the sunflower, so in the summer it decorates the area with bright yellow flowers and forms edible tubers underground. Planting is extremely simple. Bury the tubers to a depth of 10 centimeters every half meter in any soil. Jerusalem artichoke will survive in sand, clay, and even wetlands where other crops die. The only problem is its aggressive spread throughout the garden. Each tuber forgotten in the ground will produce a new plant, so many gardeners plant Jerusalem artichokes in a separate corner or limit them to underground barriers. The tubers are dug up after the first frost when they become especially sweet and crunchy. Rich in inulin, they improve digestion and are ideal for frying, baking, or eating raw. 7th place goes to chives, a perennial herb that turns any dish into a culinary masterpiece. Once you plant this type of onion, you will have a constant source of fresh greens and a real magnet for bees and other pollinators. Chives belong to the onion family and bloom with delicate lilac balls that are not only beautiful, but also edible. Bees literally flock to these flowers, increasing the yield of all plants within a radius of 100 meters from your site. You can plant by seeds or by dividing the bush in a sunny location with well-drained soil. The distance between plants is 20 centimeters, but chives grow well in pots on the windowsill all year round. Care comes down to regular cutting of feathers and moderate watering during dry periods. The more often you cut the greens, the faster new juicy tubes with a mild onion taste will grow. Trimmed feathers can be frozen, dried, or used fresh in salads, soups, and omelets. Flowers are also used in food, adding an exquisite onion aroma and bright color to dishes. The sixth place is occupied by horseradish, a hot root that the Romans used 2,000 years ago as a medicine and seasoning. This plant is so tenacious that it can grow in almost any conditions and produce a harvest of sharp roots for decades on end. Horseradish has anti-inflammatory properties and contains more vitamin C than lemon, but its main feature is its aggressive spreading. Plant one root, and in 5 years you will get a whole plantation of burning plants throughout the entire area. Plant horseradish with root cuttings at an angle to a depth of 5 centimeters in any soil in the sun or partial shade. The distance between plantings is half a meter, but it is better to immediately limit the roots to underground barriers or plant them in a separate corner of the garden. Minimal care, watering only in severe drought, no fertilizing or loosening. Horseradish itself will cope with weeds, diseases, and pests thanks to caustic substances in the leaves and roots. The roots are dug up in late autumn when they accumulate a maximum of burning oils. Grated horseradish is excellently stored in the refrigerator and adds an unforgettable spiciness to meat dishes, jellied meats, and homemade sauces. In fifth place, asparagus is an aristocrat among perennial vegetables, capable of feeding a family from 15 to 20 years in a row. The ancient Egyptians grew it 4,000 years ago, and today asparagus is considered one of the most valuable delicacies in the world. Patience when growing asparagus pays off handsomely. The plant gains strength in the first 2 years, and from the third season it produces a full harvest of tender shoots. Imagine a garden bed that automatically shoots edible spears 20 centimeters high every spring. Planting begins with 1-year-old rhizomes in a trench 20 centimeters deep in a sunny area with loose soil. The roots are placed half a meter apart and gradually covered with soil as the green shoots grow. Care includes regular weeding, watering during droughts, and annual fertilizing with compost in early spring. In the first year, the shoots are not cut off, allowing the root system to develop and strengthen for future harvests. Harvesting begins in April, when the shoots reach a height of 15 centimeters. They are simply broken off by hand at the base. Asparagus becomes the first fresh vegetable of the season, ahead of all other crops by a month. Fourth place goes to sorrel, a perennial green with a bright, sour taste that Europeans have valued since the Middle Ages. Unlike annual lettuces, sorrel comes back every spring and provides high ascorbic acid vitamins for the whole family. Common sorrel contains more vitamin C than many citrus fruits and adds a refreshing, lemony tartness to dishes. The leaves are ideal for green cabbage soup, salads, fish sauces, and even smoothies due to their unique taste. Planting sorrel does not require special skills. The seeds are sown directly into the ground in a sunny or semi-shaded area with moist soil. 30 centimeters are left between the plants, and within a month the first edible leaves appear. Care boils down to watering in hot weather and removing flower stalks to extend the leaf collection period. Sorrel practically does not get sick, is not damaged by pests, and can grow in one place for up to 5 years. The leaves are cut off when they reach a length of 10 centimeters, always leaving the central rosette for further growth. Young leaves are especially tender and sour, ideal for fresh salads and cold soups. Third place goes to the globe artichoke, a majestic plant that turns the garden into a work of art. Native to the Mediterranean, this crop produces edible buds for 5 years or more, combining the beauty of silvery leaves with practical benefits. The artichoke is striking in its size. The bushes grow up to 1.5 meters in height and width, creating spectacular architectural accents. If the buds are not cut off, they turn into huge purple flowers with a diameter of 15 centimeters, which attract bees from all over the area. Planting artichokes requires a spacious, sunny location with fertile, well-drained soil and a meter of space between plants. In cold regions, seedlings are grown at home and transplanted into open ground after the end of frost. Care includes abundant watering, especially during the period of bud formation, and annual application of compost to maintain soil fertility. From the second year, the plant begins to form dozens of large buds per season. The buds are cut dense and compact until the scales begin to open. It is at this moment that they are most tender and tasty. Artichokes are boiled, baked, stuffed, or added to Mediterranean stews. Second place goes to blueberries, a perennial berry bush that feeds its family with sweet fruits for up to 30 years in a row. The first cultivated varieties of blueberries appeared at the beginning of the 20th century in America, and today these berries are recognized as one of the main sources of antioxidants in nature. Blueberries contain powerful antioxidants that protect the body from aging and disease, and the yield from one adult bush reaches 5 kilograms of berries per season. In addition, blueberry bushes are decorative all year round. In the spring, they bloom with white bells. In the summer, they are strewn with blueberries, and in the fall, the foliage turns crimson. The key requirement for blueberries is acidic soil with a pH of 4.5 to 5.5 units, so peat, pine litter, or sulfur are added to the planting holes. The bushes are placed 1.5 meters apart in a sunny area, protected from strong winds. Be sure to plant at least 2 different varieties for cross-pollination. This increases the yield by 2 to 3 times and improves the taste of the berries. Blueberries require constant moisture, especially during fruit ripening, and a thick layer of pine bark mulch. The berries are harvested when fully ripe, dark blue with a waxy coating. They are easily separated from the branches with a light touch. The harvest is used fresh, frozen for winter smoothies, or processed into jams and baked goods. The first place is deservedly occupied by the walking onion, an amazing plant that literally plants itself and slowly travels around the garden. This ancient variety of onion has been known since the times of the Egyptian pharaohs, but most modern gardeners are not even aware of its existence. The secret of the walking onion lies in its unique method of propagation. Miniature bulbs called air babies are formed at the top of the peduncles. When the stem bends under the weight of these babies, they touch the ground, take root, and give rise to new plants. In one season, the mother plant can move 0.5 meter from its original planting site, creating entire colonies of onions without your intervention. Imagine a garden bed that self-seeds itself and continually expands its yield. Planting walking onions is simple. The bulbs are buried to a depth of 5 centimeters, 20 centimeters apart from each other, in any soil. The plant is absolutely unpretentious, tolerates frost down to -30 degrees, and is practically not damaged by diseases and pests. Everything about walking onions is edible. Green feathers like regular onions, underground white bulbs with a spicy taste, and airy babies that are added to salads or pickled for the winter. One planting provides the family with onions forever because the plant reproduces and spreads on its own. Let's summarize our list of 9 perennial crops that only need to be planted once. Rhubarb is a Siberian long liver with early vitamin petioles. Jerusalem artichoke is an indestructible giant with healthy tubers. Chives are an elegant herb for gourmets and bees. Horseradish will conquer thrill-seekers with its vitality. Asparagus will become a spring delicacy for 20 years to come. And sorrel will provide sour leaves for green cabbage soup. An artichoke will turn your vegetable garden into a Mediterranean garden, and blueberries will provide antioxidant berries for decades. And finally, the walking onion is a real miracle of nature that plants itself and multiplies without your participation. Together, these crops create a sustainable ecosystem that saves time, money, and effort, producing a consistent harvest year after year. Imagine a vegetable garden 5 years from now. While your neighbors dig up their beds every spring and buy seeds, you are simply harvesting the plants you planted a long time ago. This is true gardening skill. Plant once and enjoy the harvest for a lifetime. If this video has opened your eyes to the possibilities of perennial gardening, be sure to subscribe to the channel and give it a like. Share with your friends who are tired of starting their garden from scratch every year. Let them also learn the secrets of lazy but smart gardening.